So, Minister, as part of the package that you've announced today, it includes electricity prices being capped until 31st of March.
Yep.
That's not to say that people won't pay it in the future, but it means that the cost per unit is capped now.
Right here, right now. I mean, we've been working over the year looking at the various inflationary pressures on people and businesses on the Isle of Man. We know that Manx Gas have had to put their prices up because the wholesale gas price has gone up. Manx Utilities from the same boat, they came to us saying that they need a price increase from the 1st of October of between 70 and 90% to make up for the sudden rises that they've experienced. In terms of the shock that would have effect on our economy, government decided to step in now to freeze electricity prices for the next 6 months. That gives a level of certainty and security to people going into the winter. Those prices will have to go up eventually, but we'll do that in a staged and managed way to prevent those sudden shocks to people's budgets.
Well, is part of that you have a budget coming around in February, and it will give you the opportunity to see where things are by then, reflecting ahead of the end of March?
I think it's really important, given the volatility of all the markets at the moment, that we have that long-term view. It'd be very easy to put large amounts of money into the economy now and not have those available for next year. So we need to make sure that all the support packages we have are both appropriate, they hit the right people, they're targeted, but they're the right amount to make a difference, and they're at the right timing. We believe this is the right time to send out that signal that electricity prices for everyone will be frozen for the next 6 months. But then over the next couple of months, we're obviously going to be looking at the economic impact of that and how that affects our businesses and our individuals and families here. And then moving forward, have more targeted measures to actually help those who are most vulnerable to the increased cost of living.
Just on businesses, they will get support from this, obviously, for the electricity, but there does seem to be a little bit almost lacking in terms of direct support towards business. Yep. Is that a deliberate thing that you're focusing on people at this stage and more to come? Or?
At the moment we are focusing on people, you're quite right. We're making sure that people have money in their pocket to spend in the local economy. It is essential that we maintain consumer confidence and business confidence. Going forward, we will be providing a lot of support and advice to businesses to do the right thing to reduce their energy costs, to get more energy efficient in the same way as we're going to be doing with households and families. But we will also be looking quite carefully at how we can support the economy in general. But it is really focused at the moment on people and putting people first and making sure they have money in their pocket and then they can pay their bills. We've set out some key fundamental priorities, and the first one is to prevent fuel and food hunger for people going forward into the winter.
This is going to cost up to 26 million, which is going to be loaned to MUA over 20 years. That still results in paying potentially up to £1 million a year back in terms of a loan. Can they afford that?
They can. We've been looking and working quite carefully with Manx Utilities at their long-term financial forecasts. We are trying to deal with a sudden and unprecedented rise in wholesale gas prices. We're confident that will come down, but again, nobody is quite sure when, so we need to try to balance those increased costs over a longer period. But at the same time, we're going to be turbocharging some of the measures we were going to bring in anyway in terms of climate change to make the whole government state more energy efficient, to also look at how we can introduce more renewables into the mix to reduce our reliance on fossil fuels.
Just on that, as part of that, you've got accelerating the £8 million programme to improve efficiency in homes. How's that going to work? What sort of things can people expect to see there?
I mean, they can expect a lot more advice, a lot more personalised advice and support from people who know exactly how to reduce energy costs. They'll be also looking at far easier access to things like loft insulation, draft exclusion, to also look at how they can change the way they heat their homes. We're going to be looking far more at incentives for people to take up things like air source heat pumps, but also look at how businesses can also adapt to a completely new environment going into the new year with higher energy costs.
And another part of this, the support that's come out, is additional support for payments of those at high risk of food and fuel poverty. So it's the targeting people on benefits again and giving the support there to most people who are most vulnerable to this. But you said about the plans for December would be a further announcement. Is that looking at how gas prices are by that point? They could potentially rise if there's a big change in the market, or what's thinking behind delaying it?
I mean, what we've done up until now is targeted benefits, as you said, those who are most vulnerable to increased costs, and that's particularly people on low incomes who are either on job seekers allowance, employed persons allowance or income support. Also looking at people who have children and making sure that they're provided for. Moving forwards, I'll be making a statement in October, Tim Walls, in terms, and by then hopefully we should have some better ideas about what's going on with inflation, what's going on with energy prices and food prices. But we will also be bringing in a third round of support for those people in December. We're also looking at other people who may at the moment be on low or medium incomes who will be affected as well, and seeing the best way that we can support them through this difficult winter.
Just also on that, in terms of the summer holidays have seen this support system in place for children who receive free school meals. Is that something that right now we can expect to see coming in the October half term and in Christmas holidays?
Yeah, I mean the Cabinet Office are working with the third sector to try to look at all the stresses on people's incomes. We know that some families, and particularly those on low incomes or benefits, are disproportionately affected by increasing fuel and energy costs. That's why we've targeted them with extra support through the child benefit system. That was earlier on in the year, that will be in October and again in December. So that should hopefully give that security for people with families, that they know that they will have extra support from government. But we're also looking at how we can support them through the third sector, through advice, through energy efficiency measures as well.